Hey guys, this is a requested video by someone who goes by the screen name SK84EVE92, which I'm assuming is just Skate Forever, but without the R. But anyway, he wanted to see this Winchester fixed blade that I go over in my collections video. So that's what this is. I'm going to just quickly go over this and give you a little bit of information on something that's not related specifically to this fixed blade, but I'll go over that in a minute. So anyway, this knife comes like this. I actually got this in a trade. I do not know what kind of packaging or box this comes with, but it does come with the sheath. Obviously, it's made for this knife. The Winchester logo is sewn on top here. Okay, which is kind of nice, and brand loyalty. But the sheath itself is it's nylon. It's actually pretty stiff. Which is, I think it's preference, I guess. I like a sheath that moves around a little bit more than this, but it's perfectly suitable. You have a nice large loop here to accommodate any size belt, whether you have a skinny belt or a nice thick one. This will fit on any of them. You have a little button snap here with two little straps. Okay, that's what keeps this knife in from falling out. It will work, do its job properly, even if I pull on this and tug on it. It's not going to come out because this is getting caught on the guard here. So here's the knife itself. The back of the blade, if you're righty, I would consider this the back of the blade, is marked Winchester. On top, this has, I believe, a Rosewood handle inserts. It is full tang, meaning there's one piece of steel that goes straight up. Like I said, you see here, it does have two handle scales, and it does have two bolsters on either side. But it is full tang, so it is one piece of steel, the blade and handle. There's two rivets here that hold these on, these steel pins, and it does have a nice little lanyard hole. So overall, it's a nice appearing knife. I think it looks nice. It actually feels pretty smooth in the hand. There's no sharp corners or anything. It is all smoothed out and nice. It's a very cheap knife. I believe this was available at Walmart at one time. I don't know that for sure. I know certain Winchester models were available at Walmart and other sporting goods stores. But what I wanted to talk about is the Winchester itself. Now, not a lot of people know this, and this doesn't go for all gun manufacturers, but the majority, okay, most of these knife manufacturers do not actually make knives. Okay, in other words, as far as as my what I've learned, through the forums and talking to different knife people, as far as I know, Winchester doesn't actually make knives like many other companies, like Smith & Wesson. They don't actually produce these knives. What they do is they auction off their name. Okay, people know the Winchester name. So what they'll do is they'll have a public auction, okay, with all these different companies for people to be able to use their name. So these different Chinese, companies and companies based, I guess, in Pakistan and Japan and a lot of these different countries, they will actually bid on the name, and the highest bidder are able to use the Winchester name and print that on their products. Okay, so like I said, as far as my sources are concerned, that's what I have found out, which is very interesting, and it makes a lot of sense, because a lot of times these cheaper knives, both in price and quality, they come, a lot of times they're stamped up Winchester, Remington, Smith & Wesson. Well, actually, Remington might be one of the exceptions. They might have their own knife facility, but for the most part, most of these gun companies, Beretta, one exception is Browning. I believe Browning does actually make their own knives. They have kind of an extensive collection, but again, I could be wrong there. But some of these places, that's exactly what they're doing. They're selling their name, because when these are in the store, you're not looking and saying, "Oh, that's a sweet knife." I mean, you might be, but what the first thing you're going to say to yourself is, "Oh, Winchester makes that. That Winchester makes great guns. They must make good knives." And that's the whole purpose behind it. Okay, it's all about advertising, and just selling knives. But anyway, what I wanted to also point out is this is a cheap knife. It's lower quality. I don't really know what blade steel this has in here. I mean, it's marked stainless. It's marked surgical stainless, which could be anything. It could be anywhere from 300 stainless series all the way up to 440C. I really have no idea. But what I wanted to say is, with cheap knives, as far as cheap knives are concerned, a cheap fixed blade is far better than a cheap folding knife. Okay? When you have cheap knives, my biggest concern is safety. Okay? You don't want it breaking, failing on you, stuff like that. When you have a fixed blade, there's really nothing that's going to go wrong here. The only thing you're really, lacking with a cheap fixed blade is a decent, blade steel. You don't have to worry about any lock failing because there is no lock. A full tang fixed blade like this, okay, there's only two things you really have to worry about. One is how long is your edge going to last because of what kind of steel it is. And two, how comfortable is the actual design to use. So because this is cheap, some people might write it off right away. Like, I don't want that, it's a cheap piece of crap. But, to tell you the truth, this knife is comfortable to use. Okay, it's comfortable in the hand, a nice finger choil here. You can get a good grip on this, whether you're choking up on it or kind of laying back. Appearance-wise, I think it's very nice. You have smooth rosewood handles here, and so it's comfortable. It looks nice, and it's a cheap price tag. You don't always have to think it's worthless. Is kind of my point here. With folding knives, I tend to totally stay away from cheap folding knives. Like I said, safety issues and poor performance. But as far as fixed blades go, like I said, this is an exception for me. Sometimes you can get away with having a cheap one, and still it looks nice, it feels nice, and it performs well. So, this blade steel is a little soft, so it would need a little more sharpening than maybe some of your higher-end fixed blades, but overall, it's really not that bad. So, that's kind of my little message, for you guys, and I hope you learn a little something. And I guess that's it. That's my review of this Winchester. I have to give it, I guess a thumbs up. It's really not that bad. So thank you very much for tuning in, watching the video. I appreciate it. Oh, you know what? While I'm here, I did grab paper because I know people love the cutting tests. But I have to tell you the truth. Almost every single knife, brand new, which this is brand new. I don't use this one. It's going to come, pretty sharp, so you don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. So there you go. Whoops. So as you can see here, brand new. It's sharp enough to shave paper. It's not, it tore here a little bit, and it tore towards the bottom of this one. But it's sharp enough. I mean, any kind of cutting task you do during the day with this thing. I mean, now technically, I wouldn't probably use this if I did hunt to skin an animal, just because I think it would dull before the actual job was finished. Maybe large game like deer. And I don't hunt, so I have experience with this, but I do know that you want a knife that's going to last the whole session. So anyway, of course, my phone's ringing, so I gotta go. Thanks for tuning in.